Hey, it's James here from GoodGuitarist.com, and today I'm going to show you how to add picking to your strumming using 3 famous examples. Real quick before we dive in, if you haven't grabbed your copy of my free ebook, it's completely free for all my subscribers. I'll put a link down below and in the corner for that. You'll also see that I have some courses available designed to help you achieve various goals on guitar, and we can talk more about those later. Now, the first one that I want to show you is Blowing in the Wind by Bob Dylan. And I wouldn't necessarily call this a walking bass line because it doesn't have that distinct walk up like and walk down kind of thing. It more or less highlights the roots of each chord and has this beautiful lower melody that leads us through the chord changes. So we start off by plucking the 3rd fret of the thickest string. That's our like bass melody. And then on beat 2, we do a downstroke. On beat 3, we miss the strings and then we go up, down, up. So for the most part, if you know the strumming pattern, root, down, miss, up, down, up, that's exactly what we're doing, except for our root, instead of just kind of aiming in that general area, we have to really specifically get the thickest string so we can get that G note. I'm going to count it really slowly. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and miss, up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then from there we go to a C chord. So we pluck the root of the C chord, which is the 3rd fret of the A string, played by our ring finger, root, down, up, and then we go down, we put our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. When you just play this one slowly on its own, it sounds really rough. It's like a C over B chord, but when you play it up to tempo, it sounds totally fine. So we go root, down, up, root, down, up, and then we go into an A minor chord. So my index finger was down the entire time. Let's just try those chords. C, then C over B. We just put our middle finger on the 2nd fret, and then A minor. You know, just go through that a couple times just to get the muscle memory. So we'll add the D chord to that last little bit, starting on C, root, down, up, root, down, up, root, down, up. And back to G, doing the same thing that we did the first time around. And then we're going to start it the same way. And here on the C chord, C over B, and then back to G. So all in all, I'll play it at 80 beats per minute. Super duper slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next one that we'll learn adds a bit of arpeggiation to what is otherwise a very simple strumming pattern and song. It's What I Got by Sublime, a 2-chord song. It goes like this. So we're just picking some of the higher notes out of the chord shape, and this provides us with something with a lot more depth than your basic chords and strumming. Here's how you play it. We're starting on a D chord, and we're going to be using the most common strumming pattern ever, minus the final upstroke. So down, down, up, miss, up, down. But instead of playing all the strings, we're going to make our strumming pattern really small and just get certain strings like this. So I'm plucking the D string, and then the G string, and then I do my upstroke on the E string, upstroke on the B string, and then my final downstroke on the G string. So I'm just taking my strumming pattern and assigning those strokes, still doing down at the same time, up at the same time, still doing it with the same timing, but I'm picking individual strings to do those on. Down, down. this, up, down. I'll do it super duper slow, counting out 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just take your time with that, and then we can go to the G chord. Same thing, except we're plucking the thickest string for beat 1. Otherwise, the rest of the strings are the same. And you get used to plucking the individual strings, but at the end of the day, those are just guidelines. You just aim in those general areas. You want to be a bit more loose, and if that means hitting a couple strings at a time instead of just the one you're aiming for, that's fine. But when you practice it, aim to be precise, and then eventually you kind of let go. You know, and some of them are more like strums than picking an individual note. I'm going to do the whole thing super slow with my metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, I'd like to show you, this is actually the first thing that I learned on guitar in this style. It's the intro to Plush by Stone Temple Pilots. And I chose this one because it requires a little bit of muting to make it sound right. We're starting off on a G chord, but we don't have to play the thicker strings. So we just put our pinky on the 3rd fret of the thinnest string, our ring finger just above it. And I like putting my thumb covering the 2 thicker strings. If you can reach that, that's cool. If not, just make your strumming motion small enough so that it only gets the top 4 strings. I cover those up for insurance, you know, just in case I get them. They're not gonna like ruin anything. And we just go down, down. And then I'm gonna move my ring finger up to the 3rd fret of the G string and put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the B string. This makes, it looks like a D7 chord, but 1 fret higher. And we just strum that once. And then I'm gonna put my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, my index finger on the 1st fret of the B string. Makes a D7 sus chord. We strum it 2 times, and then we remove our index and middle, and we just have a G chord, but our B string is open now. So it's all downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and here we're gonna add our melody. So I'm still strumming all the strings. I strum that chord that we finished on, and then I'm gonna do an upstroke as I put my index finger down on the 1st fret of the B string, then my middle finger on the 2nd fret of that string, and then I can start again. So let's just isolate that and practice that little bit there. I'm just going down, up, down with the strumming, and just considering the melody on our B string, 0, 1, 2. But I'm sure to mute those thicker strings, and then I can start all over again. I'll do it with a metronome. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And Plush actually has another section that does the same sort of thing as Blowin' in the Wind. You You know, where it has like a lower melody underneath the chords. If you want to learn that, let me know. I can always make a lesson that teaches Plush from start to finish. Otherwise, that's all that we have for today. If you enjoy learning guitar with me, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment. I sincerely appreciate those of you who have already subscribed. Otherwise, don't forget to grab your copy of my free ebook and check out my premium courses. That's the best way to support the channel. I have a bunch of courses that each go over different goals that people have on guitar, like Strumming Made Simple, which helps you develop rock solid rhythm and learn how to strum and sing at the same time. It gets into some more complicated strumming patterns, teaches you how to learn strumming patterns by ear. You know, and I have a ton of other courses that each tackle different topics. You can just check that all out. I'll put a link down below for that stuff. Either way, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.